What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I wanted to make this video to show you guys on how to get an accurate quote next time you visit a dealer. So some of you are commenting on some of the how-to videos I have posted that the dealer tried to charge you this much, X amount, and then, you didn't know if that was a fair quote or not. One thing you want to keep in mind is, or one thing you do want to understand is the labor time. The labor time is going to be important. Now, different dealers and different shops have their own labor rates. So you want to find out the service centers around you. What are their labor rates? Their labor rate could vary from one to the other. Some can be as cheap as $70 if it's a small dealer or small mom and pop shop, and they can go as high as to $200 plus an hour. That's going to be important. And another thing you want to understand is whatever parts they are replacing or part they are replacing, you want to make sure you do a simple Google check, and that can easily tell you how much the part costs. So now we understand parts and labor. Let's combine the two and find out a scenario you might want to walk into. So let's just say Mr. John or Mrs. So-and-so brings their car in for service and they need a new alternator. So for this scenario, we are going to use a 2014 Camry that needs an alternator, right? So they tell you, Mr. So-and-so, hey, this job is going to cost you $800. Is $800 too high, too little for parts and labor? I don't know. So you're thinking about swiping, but you can do a quick calculation to determine how did we come up with $800? So first thing you want to do is how much does the alternator cost? Okay, a Toyota alternator for a 14 Camry, maybe around $400. You could shop around, maybe get a little bit cheaper. But let's just say you want to stick with factory. So you're willing to pay $400 for an alternator. Okay, but the service advisor told me $800. So where did the other $400 come from? Alternator costs $400, but he quoted me $800 for parts and labor. This is where you want to know about all data time. So when you go into the dealer or whatever repair center you're going to, make sure the first thing you ask them is, hey, when you're giving me a quote, I would like to have the all data time for that component, and what are your labor rates? That's going to be important. You know why I say that? Because that same 14 Camry, if I look on all data, and all data, all it is a repair manual that has a complete list of repair guide or labor guide for any single part, every single part you can think of. Every single make and model has their labor time. So whether it's an AC compressor, drive belt, shocks, lower control arm, everything has a labor time. And then to make sure you're getting an accurate labor time quoted, you want to know what the all data time says. So I know off the top of my head for that same 14 Camry, I know the all data time is 1 hour. It only pays 1 hour. And how they calculate that time is they actually have somebody doing it without no power tools, how long it takes to remove and install that job. So for the sake of this scenario, that 14 Camry, all data time is 1 hour, about 1 hour to do that alternator. So again, back to the scenario, $400 for the alternator, but all data time says it pays 1 hour labor. So how did we end up with $800? So let's just say the dealership you're at, the labor rate for the sake of this argument is $100. Okay, fine, fair enough. Alternator costs $4. The labor rate is $100, and all data time tells me it should only take 1 hour. So 1 hour at $100 labor rate should be $100. We're gonna keep it simple, right? So $100 labor plus $400 alternator is $5. How did we end up with $800 for the repair? You see how that can be tricky? Let's just say, the labor rate is $150 an hour. Let's just say it's an expensive dealer. They treat you well and, it's upscale, or even $170 an hour. Well, back again to the same formula. How much does all data says it pays for that job? You always want to ask for all data time. Okay, $170 labor rate. All data time says it only pays 1 hour. $170 plus $450 plus $400 is $570. We're still far away from that $800 that was being quoted. Now, to be fair, there are some times where rust can be a contributing factor to adding more time, a bolt stripped off, maybe somebody else was working on it prior to us getting it. But you see how important it is to know those two things, all data time and then the labor rate. Because if you go somewhere where the labor rate is $70, well, that $400 alternator plus $70 labor rate, because that job pays 1 hour, right? That alternator pays 1 hour because you know what the all data time says. Well, $400 plus $70, $470, still miles away from $800. So that all data time is crucial for you guys to really pay attention to. Now, when you go in for your next service, you don't want to be, come across as like an interrogator. Hey, what's the all data time? Well, you want to kind of casually slip it in there. You bring your car in for service and the advisor tell you, hey, would you like this repaired? Oh, yeah, I would love to get this repaired. Hey, by the way, as you tallying up the estimate, you mind printing out the all data time for me, please, so I can see it? And then, oh, by the way, what's the dealer's labor rate here? Those two things are important. Labor rate, all data time. Now, sometimes they will throw diagnostic fee in there. Let's talk about that for a little bit. Usually when you go to the dealer, and if you want something fixed, they usually charge you a diagnostic fee. Usually it's about $99, about $100. It's a little bit cheaper than what the actual labor rate is for that dealer. And we're going to say it's about $100. So $100 goes toward diagnostic. Even in that same scenario, $400 for an alternator. Let's just say you didn't know the alternator was bad. You had to pay to get it diagnosed on why your car battery light was coming on fine. So $400 plus diagnostic fee, we're at $500. And then the all data time says it pays 1 hour. So extra $100, we're still at $600, even on the high end. Even if you needed the dealer to diagnose it for you, you're still miles away from the $800 I previously quoted you guys. And it can happen anywhere, guys. If you go to the hospital, you don't understand their billing system. When you get a bill, you could either try to waste your time trying to figure it out and fight it, or maybe but that is what it's supposed to cost. You don't know. And that goes for electrician, plumbers. You don't know what you don't know. But when it comes to the automotive repair industry, these are simple things you can do for yourself to make sure you're getting a fair deal. If you don't remember anything else in this video, you want to remember two things. All data time, always ask for all data time. The advisor, may be a little, this customer again, he's asking for all data time. You know what he's talking about. And then the dealer rate, the labor rate for that dealer or the automotive shop you're visiting. Everybody has a dealer rate. And like I said, parts are parts, You can't really do nothing about that. You can see for yourself how much it costs. A simple Google check. You can find that online. Now, here's where it gets a little tricky. In a perfect world, everybody would be honest, right? There wouldn't be so much differences between one repair and the other, one scamming this customer, the other one's being honest. But because we don't live in a perfect world, we unfortunately are going to experience that. Let's just say you go to the dealer, right? We're going to keep the same scenario. 14 Camry that needs an alternator, right? Alternator costs $400. And we already established the all data time pays 1 hour for that job, right? Nothing too complicated, 1 hour. Here's where it could get a little bit tricky. If I pull that car in, right? I'm a master diagnostic technician, so my dollars per hour may be higher than another technician. So let's just say I pull the car in and let's just say I'm at $40 an hour, right? For me to do that Camry, and I look at the all data time, I say, this thing only pays an hour. But at the end of the day, it's really easy. It's not going to take me that long to knock it out. So I do that job. The dealer charges you $100 for the hour, right? And then I get $40 out of that. And then what happens if somebody who just started off try to make ends meet, but he's only at $20 an hour? He's only at $20 an hour. He's not a master diagnostic technician. And he looks at that all data time that pays 1 hour. He's like, I'm only going to get $20 because, like I said, he's only at $20 an hour. He's thinking, why would I only want to charge $20? That's what he's thinking. So to make things fair for him, what he's going to do is say, I hope this customer doesn't know about all data time. let me quote this job for 2 hours. So then the advisor not checking anything. It's not their fault. Some of them know, some of them don't. That technician at $20 an hour brings that quote to the service advisor. He said, hey, I want 2 hours for this alternator on this 14 Camry. Well, alternator costs $400. The advisor does the math. He wants two hours for the alternator replacement. 2 hours plus $100 labor rate. That's $200. Okay, Mr. So-and-so, this alternator job is going to cost you $6. But you see how that equation changes? Because he's at $20 an hour, he doesn't want only $20 if he charges 1 hour for that job. He would like to make $40. But me, let's just say, as a master diagnostic tech, I have a higher hourly labor rate. I get paid more than, the other technician. 1 hour may not seem so bad. So I'll give you the same quote, $400 alternator. I say, okay, 1 hour is not so bad. I charge you that hour. So it costs you $500 if I did it, because I brought the quote to the advisor at 1 hour. So the advisor does the same math, $400 for an alternator, 1 hour labor rate, $500. The previous technician, he doesn't want only an hour because he's only at $20. So you see how the hourly rates of the technician can change that equation. But it's not fair for you either. Regardless of how much that technician gets paid, it shouldn't change how much the total job costs for you, because regardless of what that technician puts on paper, whether he's at $15 an hour or $50 an hour, the dealer rate's going to be the dealer rate. That's how much you're going to have to pay. But he doesn't see it like that. He sees it as, I'm already getting paid chump change. Let me try to increase the labor rate. Now, the dealerships are not usually condoning this thing. They are usually against it. Even though at the end of the day, it's more money in their pocket, they don't like when technicians are doing that. If it was an honest mistake, fine. But to deliberately go in and then increase the labor time, hoping the customer doesn't know, and then, getting a higher labor rate or getting a higher time for that job that easily takes an hour, but they want 3, they want 4 hours. Some technicians are really greedy. I'm just going to be honest. But if you have this knowledge that I'm telling you, all data time, it doesn't matter where you go, you can easily catch them if they're trying to do that to you. Like I said, not in an interrogating way. Anytime you go out for service, hey, Mr. So-and-so, whatever mom and pop shop you're visiting, whatever you give me the quote, just please, can you give me the all data time? All data time and then dealer rate. By knowing those two things, you'll save yourself some money. Don't get hit over the head again at the next dealership visit. I hope this kind of clarifies some things for you guys. And if it did, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Comment down below. Let me know your experiences with the dealerships or any auto center. Did you know about the labor time guide? Did you know it even exists? So next time you get a quote for $800, $1,000, break it down. What are the parts that you're replacing? And what does the all data time says it takes to replace that part? And then from there, just do basic math with the dealer rate, the amount of hours that they quoted you. And like I said, you want to see that paper. And then I guarantee you, by doing that, the advisor is going to be smart enough to know, hey, this guy seems to know his stuff. Let me try to give him a fair quote. And like I said, you're not doing it in an interrogating way or demanding way. Just, hey, I'm here for my service. I would like to get a quote. And by the way, can I just have all data time? Right off rip, he's going to know that you already know what you're talking about. So do these simple things, guys, next time you're at the dealer or any auto repair service center. And I guarantee you, after you break down the numbers, you'll find that you'll actually save a penny or two. Hope you guys find this video informative. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. As always, thanks for watching.